The battlefield was quiet. Smoke rose from the burned ground. The air was heavy with dust and the smell of fire. No voices, no movement, only silence. In that silence, a human soldier walked slowly. His armor was broken, his side was bleeding, yet his eyes still burned with life. He thought he was alone, but then he saw her, tall, strong, and covered in shining armor. She was not human. Her eyes glowed like fire under a storm. Her skin was silver, and her movements were sharp like a blade. She was an alien warrior, one of the strongest, one who never lost. She looked at him with anger and with curiosity. To her, he was weak. He was broken, wounded, almost ready to die. But still he walked toward her. He did not run. He did not hide. He only stood in front of her and stared. "Human," she said, her voice like thunder. "You should already be on the ground." He smiled, his lips dry, his ribs aching. "Maybe," he answered, "but I am not." Her anger grew. She wanted to show him the truth. She lifted her leg and kicked with all her power. The strike landed on his chest. A sound cracked, his rib broke. The human fell on his knees. The ground shook under the power of her kick. She waited for the scream. Every enemy screamed when she kicked them. But he did not scream. He did not cry. He only looked up at her with a strange smile. Blood was in his mouth. Pain was in his body. Yet his eyes shined with something else. Not fear, but something stronger. "You think you broke me," he whispered. "But you healed me." She froze. Her eyes narrowed. She thought he was mocking her. But the human's voice was calm. There was no joke in his tone. He stood up again, slow but steady, his back straight, his face brave. The alien warrior had never seen this before. Her kick destroyed walls. Her kick ended warriors. But this human looked stronger after the pain. "Ow," she asked, her voice sharper than her blade. "How can you smile when your rib is broken?" The human touched his side. He felt the sharp pain. But behind that pain was energy. His blood felt hot. His body felt alive. He could feel strength moving through his bones. "I don't know the full truth," he said, "but your strike gave me something. It gave me power I never had before." Her hand tightened on her weapon. She thought he was lying, but her warrior's heart told her this was real. There was no fear in his words, only truth. She stepped closer. The ground cracked under her heavy boots. "Do you want me to kill you?" she asked. The human laughed softly. "No, I want you to try." His smile made her stop for a moment. This was not how humans behaved. They feared her, they begged. But this one, he stood like a challenger. The silence of the battlefield grew heavier. Wind moved the ashes. Far in the distance, machines still burned. But in that moment, only two figures mattered, the human and the alien. She looked into his eyes. For the first time, she saw no weakness. For the first time, she felt doubt. Was he truly broken? Or had she awakened something greater inside him? He took a deep breath. His ribs still hurt, but his body stood tall. "You are not my enemy," he said slowly. "You are my cure." Her heart pounded in her chest. The words cut deeper than any blade. What did he mean? How could pain become healing? How could a broken rib become strength? The alien warrior had many victories. She had crushed countless enemies. But this was different. This human was not just surviving. He was changing, and his change was because of her. She felt something strange, a mix of fear and respect. Her hand trembled slightly. This had never happened before. He looked at her again and whispered, "This is only the beginning." The battlefield was silent, but between them a storm was growing, a storm of power, of secrets, and of destiny. Neither of them knew what would come next, but both knew one truth. This encounter was not the end. It was only the beginning. The battlefield still smoked. The human soldier stood with one hand pressed against his ribs. His breathing was heavy, but his eyes did not lose their fire. The alien warrior watched him with a strange feeling. She had broken bones before. She had ended lives with one strike. But this man smiled at her pain. His words still echoed in her mind. "You healed me." Her mind struggled to understand. Was it madness? Was it some trick? No human should stand after a kick. Yet he stood taller than before, his body trembling, but his spirit burning bright. She lifted her weapon again. "If you're mocking me, I will end you now," she said. Her voice was sharp, filled with warning. But the human only shook his head. "I am not mocking you," he replied. "You gave me something new. Your strength became mine." The words confused her even more. Aliens were taught that humans were weak, that they broke easily, that they were nothing more than prey in war. But now, this human looked stronger than when she first saw him. Her instincts whispered danger, not because of his blade, not because of his armor, but because of his will. The wind carried the sound of burning machines. Somewhere in the distance, metal collapsed, but neither of them moved. It was as if time itself had frozen. Only their voices and their breaths filled the silence. "Why do you not fall?" she asked. Her voice was lower now, almost uncertain. The human smiled again, though his lips were red with blood. "Because pain is not the end," he said. "Pain is the beginning. When you struck me, you did not weaken me. You awakened me." Her eyes narrowed. Awakened? The word felt dangerous. If what he said was true, then every strike she gave could create more strength. Her people had always believed in destruction. But what if their power gave life instead of death? The thought shook her. It went against everything she had been trained to believe. She remembered the faces of humans she had fought before, the way they screamed, the way they collapsed. Had she been blind to something greater? Had those screams hidden a truth she never noticed? The human took a step closer, slow but steady. She raised her blade again, ready to cut him down. But then she stopped. His eyes were not the eyes of prey. They were not begging for mercy. They were challenging her, defying her, calling her to see something different. "You don't know what you carry," he said softly. "Your power is not only to destroy. It can heal. It can change. And I am proof." Her heart pounded in her chest. She hated this feeling, this hesitation, this confusion. She was a warrior. She was not meant to doubt. She was not meant to question her strength. But now she could not stop. The silence between them was broken by distant footsteps. Other soldiers were moving closer. The war was not finished, and soon others would arrive. She knew she should end this human now, but instead she waited, her mind full of questions, her blade heavy in her hand. He looked around at the smoke, then back at her. "You can kill me if you want," he said, "but if you do, you kill the only truth you will ever know." His words struck deeper than her own strikes ever had. She wanted to deny him. She wanted to silence him, but she could not. The alien warrior stepped back, her grip on her weapon tight. For the first time, she felt fear, not of him, but of the truth. What if he was right? What if her strength did not end life, but gave it? What if every battle she fought was building her enemies stronger? Her people had told her humans were weak, but this one human, standing broken yet unbroken, he was living proof that they were wrong. The confusion inside her grew, every heartbeat louder, every breath heavier. She could not decide whether to strike him down or to listen. And in that confusion, the seed of something new was planted. Not hate, not victory, but the beginning of change. The battlefield grew darker as smoke covered the fading sun. The human still stood, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. His broken rib hurt with every movement, yet inside his body he felt a strange fire. The alien warrior watched him carefully, her weapon still in hand, but her heart unsettled. She could not understand why his pain looked like strength, why his wound felt like healing. She remembered his words again. "You don't know what you carry." The sentence echoed in her mind like thunder. It was not only defiance, it was truth. But what truth could a weak human carry against her people's power? The man wiped blood from his mouth and laughed softly. "You think I stand here by luck?" he said. "No, it was never luck." Her eyes narrowed. "Then tell me, human," she demanded, "what secret keeps you alive?" For a moment he was silent. He looked at the ground, at the burned metal and scattered ash. Then he raised his head slowly. "You want the truth?" he asked. "The truth is hidden in your own strikes. Her hand tightened on her weapon. She hated riddles, but something in his voice made her listen. He continued, "My people learned long ago that pain is not only pain. We learned that your kind's power carries something more, something that does not kill us, but awakens us." Her chest tightened. It felt impossible. Her whole life, she had been told humans were weak. She was told they died easily. But if his words were true, then her battles had been lies. "You're saying my power heals you?" she asked. Her voice was sharp but trembling. The human nodded. "Not just heals, it transforms. Every strike, every blow, it pushes us beyond the limits of flesh." He looked at his hands, shaking but stronger than before. "You gave me strength I never had." The alien warrior felt her stomach twist. She remembered past battles, humans who should have died, but some of them had risen again. Not many, not often, but she had seen it and ignored it. She had told herself it was only desperation. But maybe it was more. "Why tell me this secret?" she asked slowly. "If I know, I can destroy you more easily." The man shook his head. "No, you can't destroy what is already changing. You can only choose to see it or close your eyes." His words cut deeper than blades. She hated the feeling of doubt. Her people demanded loyalty. They demanded obedience. But now she stood before a man who turned her truth into questions. The ground trembled with distant footsteps. Her commanders would arrive soon. They would not tolerate hesitation. They would not allow questions. But she could not stop thinking about his words. Every heartbeat told her he might be right. "You risk death by speaking this," she whispered. The human smiled. "I risk nothing," he said, "because if you strike me again, I will only rise stronger." His eyes glowed with fire, and she felt her hand tremble, not with weakness, but with fear of what he might become. She wanted to strike him, to silence him, but her blade did not move. Something inside her had changed. For the first time in her warrior life, she wanted to know instead of kill. She wanted to understand instead of conquer. The human stepped closer, his breath heavy. "There is more," he whispered. "My people know your secret. We know your strength is not only a weapon, it is a gift your leaders hide even from you." Her eyes widened. The thought burned through her chest like fire. Her own leaders hiding truth from her? Could it be possible? Her loyalty was her identity. Her strength was her honor. And yet now she felt betrayed by her own silence. The human's voice grew lower, urgent. "You can keep fighting me. You can break every bone in my body. But the truth will not die. It will grow inside me, inside all of us." The alien warrior's grip weakened on her weapon. Confusion and anger twisted inside her. She wanted to scream. She wanted to deny him. But deep in her heart, she knew. The secret was real. She stared at him with burning eyes. And for the first time, she whispered not with rage, but with fear. "What are you, human?" He smiled through his pain. "I am what your power made me." The smoke grew heavier, rolling like dark clouds across the ruined battlefield. The human soldier stood tall, though his body shook with pain. The alien warrior gripped her weapon, her mind full of storms. His words about secrets and hidden truths still echoed inside her. She wanted to deny him, to call him a liar, but the fire in his eyes made denial impossible. Before either could speak again, the ground trembled. The sound of metal feet echoed from the distance. Both turned toward the noise. From the shadows, more alien soldiers appeared, her own kind, armored, disciplined, ready for war. They marched forward with glowing weapons raised. The human's face hardened. He was outnumbered. His ribs burned, his blood still dripped from his side. Yet he lifted his blade, ready to fight. The alien warrior glanced at him. Her orders were clear: kill humans on sight. But her heart hesitated. This human was not like the others. The first wave of soldiers fired. Bright energy blasts cut through the smoke. The human dove to the side, rolling across broken ground. He barely avoided death. The alien warrior blocked the next strike with her weapon. Her soldiers looked at her in confusion. Why defend a human? Stand down, one soldier shouted. This human is mine, she growled. Her voice carried authority. The soldiers hesitated, confused but loyal. Still, they pressed forward. The human tightened his grip. Looks like your people don't like me, he muttered. She gave him a sharp glance. Neither do I, she answered coldly. But you will not die here. Not yet. They fought side by side. Her strikes were like thunder, heavy and brutal. His movements were sharp, desperate, but precise. Together, they cut through the wave of soldiers. The human felt each kick of pain in his ribs. Yet every moment he survived, he felt stronger. Her presence seemed to fuel his fire. The alien warrior noticed it too. Every time her power touched him, a strike, a clash, even the shockwaves of her blows, he rose taller. It frightened her. It fascinated her. He was changing before her eyes. One soldier charged at the human with a spear. The alien warrior moved faster than thought. Her blade slashed, stopping the attack before it struck him. The human gave her a quick nod. You saved me, he said. Her jaw tightened. Don't mistake this for mercy, she growled. I only protect what I want to question. The battle raged. More soldiers fell, their bodies hitting the broken ground. Together they carved a path through fire and smoke. Each strike, each movement, unwilling allies, bound not by trust, but by survival. When the last soldier dropped, silence returned. The battlefield was a graveyard once more. The human leaned on his blade, his chest rising with heavy breaths. The alien warrior stood tall, her armor scorched, her weapon still glowing. They looked at each other, enemies by nature, but something else by fate. You could have let them kill me, he said. Yes, she answered, her voice calm. But then I would lose the chance to know the truth. His eyes narrowed. You believe me now? Her gaze was sharp, uncertain. I believe nothing, she said, but I cannot deny what I saw. You grow stronger when you should be weaker. The human's lips curved into a tired smile. And you hate that, don't you? Her silence was her answer. Hate and fear twisted inside her chest. But also something else. Curiosity. She turned away from him, scanning the horizon. More soldiers would come. Her commanders would not forgive her delay. She had to make a choice soon. Kill him and prove loyalty, or keep him alive and betray everything she was. The human took a step closer, his voice low. You saved me today, he said, and I don't think it was an accident. Her heart pounded. She wanted to deny it. But the memory of her blade stopping the soldier's spear told another story. You are still my enemy, she whispered sharply. And yet, he answered, we just fought as allies. The silence between them felt heavier than the smoke. In that silence lived a dangerous truth. They were not allies by choice, but by need, and deep inside, they both knew this would not be the last time. The battlefield was silent once more. Ash floated in the air like falling snow. The human leaned against a shattered wall, breathing hard. His ribs still burned with pain, but inside his body he felt something new. A current of strength running through his veins. The alien warrior stood nearby, her weapon lowered, but her eyes sharp. She did not trust him, yet she could not deny what she had seen. For a long time, they said nothing. The silence was heavy, filled with unspoken questions. Finally, the human broke it. You felt it too, haven't you? She turned sharply, her glowing eyes narrowing. Felt what? She asked, her voice edged with steel. He gave a tired smile. The truth, your strength does not end me. It changes me. Every strike you give makes me stronger. It is not just me, it is all of us. Her stomach twisted. The words cut deeper than any blade. No, she snapped almost too quickly. That is impossible. Humans are weak. That is what we were taught. The man shook his head. That's what they wanted you to believe. But the truth is different. Your leaders lied to you. Her grip tightened on her weapon. She wanted to deny it, to silence him. But deep inside, memories rose. Battles where humans had stood back up when they should have died. Moments when she felt her strikes feeding them rather than destroying them. She had buried those thoughts as mistakes. Now she saw them for what they were, signs of a hidden truth. You mean, she whispered, that every fight, every death, the human nodded slowly, every strike has built us. Every battle has changed us. You thought you were breaking us, but you were shaping us. Her chest tightened. If this was true, then every victory she had claimed was a lie. Every human she struck down may have risen stronger. Her people's great power was not destroying an enemy. It was creating one. The human's voice lowered, almost gentle. You are not just a weapon. You are a forge, and your kind has been forging us for years. The alien warrior felt the ground shift under her feet. Her world cracked apart. Her loyalty, her honor, her victories, all poisoned by this secret. Her own people had hidden it from her. They had used her strength but denied her the truth. She had been a tool in their hands, blind and obedient. Her jaw clenched. Her eyes burned with anger. But it was not anger for the human. It was anger for her own leaders. They lied to me, she whispered. They lied to all of us. The human stepped closer. Though his body was still weak, his eyes glowed with fire. They feared what you could become if you knew, he said. They feared what we could become if we understood. But now you know, and you cannot forget it. Her heart raced. A storm of betrayal and confusion shook her. She wanted to scream, to break something, but instead she stood still. The truth was too heavy. It pressed down on her like the sky itself. The human placed a hand on his broken chest. You gave me this strength, he said. Not your leaders, not my people. Your strike changed me, and now I'm not the same man I was. Her weapon trembled in her hand. She stared at him, her enemy, her rival, her question, and deep inside, she felt something she had never felt before. Not victory, not rage, but guilt. Because if his words were true, then she had not just fought humans. She had unknowingly raised them, made them stronger, shaped their destiny with every battle. The human's voice was steady now. You see it, don't you? She closed her eyes, her heart pounding. When she opened them again, there was no denial left. Yes, she whispered. I see it. The battlefield around them was still, but inside both of them a storm raged. One of truth, betrayal, and revelation. And from that storm, a new path was born. Not of enemies, not of allies, but of something greater. A dangerous, unbreakable bond forged in pain and power. The battlefield was broken and silent once more. The smoke of fallen soldiers drifted like ghosts above the ruins. The alien warrior stood with her weapon lowered, her armor cracked and scorched. Beside her, the human leaned heavily on his blade, blood on his lips but fire in his eyes. Around them lay the proof of her betrayal, the bodies of her own soldiers, the scattered banners of her people. Her heart pounded like thunder in her chest. She had turned against everything she once lived for. Her loyalty was gone, her honor rewritten. Yet even with the weight of betrayal pressing on her, she felt something new, freedom. But freedom was not without cost. Her commanders had fled into the smoke, but their voices still echoed. You will burn for this, they had promised. And she knew they would return, stronger and merciless. The human straightened slowly, his ribs still broken, his body still weak. But he stood as if the pain had become his strength. He looked at her with steady eyes. You cannot go back, he said quietly. They will hunt you now. She turned to him, her glowing eyes sharp but full of conflict. And you? She asked. Your people are not here. You are alone. What will you do? The human gave a faint smile. I am not alone anymore, he answered. Her chest tightened at the words. It was strange, an enemy's voice giving her more certainty than her commanders ever had. She lifted her head, staring at the horizon. The smoke cleared just enough to reveal the ruins stretching endlessly. War had broken this land. Her people's lies had poisoned it. But now, for the first time, she wondered if war could be more than destruction. Could it be rebirth? The human's voice cut through her thoughts. You still have a choice, he said. You can strike me down, end me here, and maybe they will forgive you. Or you can choose something new, a path no one has walked before. Her grip tightened on her weapon. His words were fire inside her mind. Kill him and try to crawl back to the lies. Or stand with him and embrace a truth that could change everything. The silence grew heavy. She looked at him, his body broken, his armor ruined, yet his spirit was unshaken. He was not her enemy anymore. No, he was something else, something more. Slowly, she stepped forward. Her boots cracked the ash beneath her. The human did not flinch. He did not raise his blade. He only waited. She raised her leg, just as she had when they first met. The memory burned. Her kick had shattered his rib. It should have ended him, but instead, it had awakened him. Now she kicked again, harder than before. Her strike landed with thunder. The human's chest shook with the force. He stumbled back, but he did not fall. Instead, his eyes blazed brighter. His body trembled, but strength surged through him like fire. The pain turned into power. The weakness turned into life. The alien warrior stared, her chest rising fast. Her strike had not destroyed him. It had completed him. For the first time, she understood fully. Her power was not a weapon. It was a gift. The human lifted his head, smiling through the blood. You see now, he said softly. You were never my enemy. You were my cure. Her weapon slipped slightly in her hand. Her breath caught in her throat. The words struck her deeper than any wound. All her life, she had been told she was a destroyer. But this human called her something else. Not a curse, but salvation. For a long moment, they stood in silence. Smoke rising, ruins burning. Two figures facing a world that would never accept them. And yet, in that silence, something unbreakable was forged. Not just survival, not just alliance, but a bond. She lowered her weapon completely, her voice steady as she spoke. Then let it be decided, she whispered, I will not fight for them. I will fight for truth, and for what we will become. The human nodded. The fire in his eyes met the glow in hers. And together, on a battlefield of lies and ashes, they made their choice. Not as enemies, not as strangers, but as something new, something powerful enough to change the fate of both their kinds. The battlefield was broken and silent once more. The smoke of fallen soldiers drifted like ghosts above the ruins. The alien warrior stood with her weapon lowered, her armor cracked and scorched. Beside her, the human leaned heavily on his blade, blood on his lips but fire in his eyes. Around them lay the proof of her betrayal, the bodies of her own soldiers, the scattered banners of her people. Her heart pounded like thunder in her chest. She had turned against everything she once lived for. Her loyalty was gone, her honor rewritten. Yet even with the weight of betrayal pressing on her, she felt something new, freedom. But freedom was not without cost. Her commanders had fled into the smoke, but their voices still echoed. You will burn for this, they had promised. And she knew they would return, stronger and merciless. The human straightened slowly, his ribs still broken, his body still weak. But he stood as if the pain had become his strength. He looked at her with steady eyes. You cannot go back, he said quietly. They will hunt you now. She turned to him, her glowing eyes sharp but full of conflict. And you? She asked. Your people are not here. You are alone. What will you do? The human gave a faint smile. I'm not alone anymore, he answered. Her chest tightened at the words. It was strange, an enemy's voice giving her more certainty than her commanders ever had. She lifted her head, staring at the horizon. The smoke cleared just enough to reveal the ruins stretching endlessly. War had broken this land. Her people's lies had poisoned it. But now, for the first time, she wondered if war could be more than destruction. Could it be rebirth? The human's voice cut through her thoughts. You still have a choice, he said. You can strike me down, end me here, and maybe they will forgive you. Or you can choose something new, a path no one has walked before. Her grip tightened on her weapon. His words were fire inside her mind. Kill him and try to crawl back to the lies. Or stand with him and embrace a truth that could change everything. The silence grew heavy. She looked at him, his body broken, his armor ruined, yet his spirit was unshaken. He was not her enemy anymore. No, he was something else, something more. Slowly, she stepped forward. Her boots cracked the ash beneath her. The human did not flinch. He did not raise his blade. He only waited. She raised her leg, just as she had when they first met. The memory burned. Her kick had shattered his rib. It should have ended him, but instead, it had awakened him. Now she kicked again, harder than before. Her strike landed with thunder. The human's chest shook with the force. He stumbled back, but he did not fall. Instead, his eyes blazed brighter. His body trembled, but strength surged through him like fire. The pain turned into power. The weakness turned into life. The alien warrior stared, her chest rising fast. Her strike had not destroyed him. It had completed him. For the first time, she understood fully. Her power was not a weapon, it was a gift. The human lifted his head, smiling through the blood. "You see now," he said softly, "you were never my enemy. You were my cure." Her weapon slipped slightly in her hand. Her breath caught in her throat. The words struck her deeper than any wound. All her life, she had been told she was a destroyer. But this human called her something else. Not a curse, but salvation. For a long moment, they stood in silence. Smoke rising, ruins burning. Two figures facing a world that would never accept them. And yet, in that silence, something unbreakable was forged. Not just survival, not just alliance, but a bond. She lowered her weapon completely, her voice steady as she spoke. "Then let it be decided," she whispered. "I will not fight for them. I will fight for truth, and for what we will become." The human nodded. The fire in his eyes met the glow in hers. And together, on a battlefield of lies and ashes, they made their choice. Not as enemies, not as strangers, but as something new, something powerful enough to change the fate of both their kinds.